Welcome back to Southeast Texas Weekly. We go to Kent Walston to ask about these allegations against presidential candidate Herman Cain. Serious allegations this week about sexual harassment. Now I believe we're looking at 4 women who have now come out with accusations. 2 have gone public. Is there a crescendo building, and does it eliminate Herman Cain and derail the Cain train from the White House?
Apparently not. His numbers are up. He raised $9 million last month. My question is this, okay.
They have eroded a little bit.
But over a decade ago, these complaints, you know, this happened. You know, is what they're saying. Why wait a decade to come forward? Why they didn't file an EEOC complaint? They didn't file a civil suit. They didn't do anything. And next they're appearing with Gloria Allred saying he did all these things to me, or he was inappropriate. And I'm just not sure if I believe it or not. This is politics as usual. I don't think it's coming from the Democrats. I think it's infighting among the Republicans.
Even though the latest and most vocal comes from Rahm Emanuel's Chicago, huh? Is it
here's the thing. I don't know whether it comes from the rivals.
Maybe Mayor Daley rose from the grave and rigged this.
Look, you don't think it's possible that the links that have been alleged are real?
Anything is possible. What I'm looking for is just simply truth. That's the bottom line. And if we start to devolve into looking for the conspiracies,
Herman Cain
then we're never going to get to the truth. And then and then people may end up supporting him when they maybe should not, or they may end up throwing him over the side of the bus when they should not, based off of whose conspiracy. Yeah,
but does
based on whose conspiracy that they believe.
This revisionist
all we need is truth.
This revisionist history is stupid and it's not factual. The 2 complaints where settlements were made arose not in Chicago, in Washington, D.C., 1999. This woman, Sharon Bialek, that came out this week.
The most vocal, who comes from the Chicago area.
Right. Okay. You know, I remain open-minded on that one, but the 2 women that filed the complaints filed formal complaints with the National Restaurant Association.
With the association, not with the EEOC.
Well, they got a settlement. You know,
what's the
they
hold
got paid.
What's the holdup? Unless it's an effort to derail his political aspirations.
That's all it is.
So he's immune from accountability for his actions.
No, I just think he's handled it terrible. They knew about this in the Senate race when he ran for Senate. They knew about these things coming out.
The way to handle it is the way that Bill Clinton handled it. Apparently,
we have to move forward. Mississippi votes and essentially says personhood does not start that early in life. The personhood vote in Mississippi was an extraordinary move by what many observers thought to be easy pickings in Mississippi for that law to pass. Didn't happen that way. What does it say? What does it mean for us as a people?
As a native of Mississippi, I was born in Pascagoula. I can tell you this: there are rational, right-thinking people in Mississippi who are frequently chagrined by the conduct of some of their fellow politicians and citizens. You know, I loved after Katrina when President Bush's big concern was that Trent Lott's beach house be rebuilt so he can come back and visit.
It doesn't say that the personhood amendment that these bills all across the nation that if they can't pass in Mississippi, they're not going to pass elsewhere.
Well, this reveals one of the true underpinnings of the right to life movement that's always kept under wraps. They don't just oppose abortion. They oppose contraception. They oppose birth control. And that's what this bill was about. It would have taken several forms of birth control and made them equivalent to a murder. If a woman has a miscarriage, she would have been, you know, the object of a potential criminal investigation. Well, even people like my friends on the right here don't want that. Am I correct, Shane? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No, absolutely not. And this is, quite frankly, there's a discussion that I've had within the Republican Party for many years. But I'll tell you, coming from a 17-year-old mother who a lot of the adults in her life, because she came from the wrong side of the tracks, wanted me aborted, I'm pretty thankful that she chose not to do that. I don't believe we have a legal problem with abortion. It's a cultural problem. As long as we want to abort our children, where people will find a way to do that. I'm more interested in what happened with Ohio, where the voters were of split mind there, both with the bargaining rights for public employee unions and an outright rejection of the individual mandate for the Patient Reform Act. Very interesting results that came out of there, and I think that speaks to some larger political issues.
Let's move to Kent Walston, a man who lights a candle to the Democratic Party each night, and ask him about his feelings on on whether the super committee is being hijacked by Democrats who have essentially walked out of the process.
No, not at all. I think that, in fact, I heard today that they had reached some sort of tentative agreement. So I think it's working right now. Let's just see. We got 10 days left. Let's see what happens.
Senator Rand Paul says that the Democrats have walked out of the negotiations. They're not even talking. I know there has been a slight bit of movement on Friday to come to some terms. What's going to happen with the super committee, the all-important super committee?
I think it was overblown. I think it was a flawed concept. If it puts us on the road to deficit reduction, then I think it's a good idea.
What's a flawed concept?
The idea of a super committee. I mean, we actually have a constitution with 3 branches of government.
Amen.
And there's not this 4th super branch. But let me remind folks,
James Shannon.
last time we had a balanced budget, it was Bill Clinton that delivered that balanced budget.
And a surplus.
And Speaker Newt Gingrich, who had to send it to him 4 times, don't forget, before he actually signed it. But that's okay.
Newt is another issue. And if he actually becomes a top-tier candidate.
We're talking about the balanced budget, right?
Right.
Back in the 90s.
And I'm saying we had a balanced budget.
And President Clinton had the political foresight to eventually sign all of those laws into effect, even though he rejected them multiple times until he finally relented.
And you all heard that.
And so,
disagreeing with me, Kent Walston has tacitly agreed that he does light a candle to the Democratic Party each night.
You bet I do.
Having not disagreed with what I said. Newt Gingrich, he references to being the tortoise while Mitt Romney is the hare. In fact, Gingrich, at this point, is beginning to he's gaining some ground.
Coming on.
He's making some money. The fundraising is there. You saw him, and I know you felt fondly while walking away from that event.
I've actually met Newt before. I was in South Carolina in 2004 and 2008. But let me tell you something. The Democrats are begging the GOP to nominate a Herman Cain, a Newt Gingrich. But you notice the only candidate the Democrats are attacking now is Mitt Romney, because they know that's who they're going to run against. Like I say, Republicans will nominate any of these other guys at their political peril. Romney, at least they know what they get, which is whatever way the wind's blowing that day, that's what they get.
You would throw Rick Perry into that list at this point that Democrats would love to have as the nominee. Is that what you're saying?
Romney demonstrates some of the political acumen that a Bill Clinton did, who, at least would, could find ways to find consensus and work. He would eventually relent and understand where the American people were. I give President Clinton credit for that. That's something I've had conversations actually with James Carville about, and he's the first one to say it. And he's the first one to say that President Obama, he doubts that he has that level of acumen, if you will.
I will tell you this, Bill Clinton is one of the most natural, skilled politicians of the past 100 years. I mean, I think he is that rare bird that comes along once in a long, long time.
I think he was a great president.
And it was so intriguing to watch him as Hillary's campaign started to dismantle. And
he wasn't happy.
It was Bubba's face was bright red, and I have never seen him like that. For all of his skills, he could not raise that, and he felt betrayed by their former supporters.
Clinton wanted to be loved so bad he was willing to throw the value system that he believed in over the table and go along with good ideas that Speaker Gingrich and the Republicans put out of the House back then. That's his bottom line.
As did Ronald
especially on welfare reform.
No doubt. And he and Tip, and that's a great point, James, and I will grant that for you.
They worked together and solved the problem.
Finding consensus, not compromise, and there is a difference.
Speaking of the folks in your party that invoke Reagan mantra over and over, Reagan himself would be appalled by what's being done in his name.
Speaking of Bubba, Godfrey Leggett joins us in just a few moments to give us the full lowdown on a great many more of these issues, including the Herman Cain issue. Jeffrey Lewis back as well as Southeast Texas Weekly continues. Stay with us.